Bonsoir. Désolé, j'ai un rhume. Ça me chatouille le nez depuis tout à l'heure. C'est super chiant. Et que j'aille chercher les mouchoirs. Bref. De retour sur The Stanley Parable. Du coup, la 2, même si ça n'existe pas, mais bref. Et nous allons enfin, apparemment, parce que je viens de relancer le jeu et ça m'a fait comme ça, apparemment, nous allons enfin savoir ce qu'est l'épilogue. L'épilogue qui est une chose que je n'avais pas débloquée jusque-là. Et je suppose qu'il fallait que je quitte le jeu et que je revienne. Donc voilà. Donc on va go épilogue. Je sais pas ce que ça va se faire. Mhm. Dégueulasse. Désolé. Ah, d'accord, l'épilogue c'est ça. L'épilogue c'est cette fin là. Ok. C'est la fin où t'es perdu. Je déteste à chaque fois reparamétrer les touches. Avant. Gauche. Toujours suivre le soleil. Non, c'est une connerie en fait. Faut pas le faire. Oh, bonjour. Où est-ce que j'ai fait popper du bois et des trucs? Ok, pourquoi pas. J'ai une tête vraiment dégueulasse. Putain, en fait j'ai beurré mes lunettes, j'avais mis de la crème sur mes mains et je vois absolument que dalle. En gros, ils sont crades de mes doigts, gras. Ça passe au travers le tissu. J'ai tellement mis du machin gras sur les mains pour me réparer les mains parce que j'avais les mains complètement mortes. Ok, il y avait une tempête. Là, il y a pas grand chose à part que la lune est très très grosse. À un moment, on va retrouver le narrateur, ça va être drôle. Il me faut de l'eau. Bon, je vais faire avec, c'est déjà pas mal. Ah, bonjour. The Memory Zone. Et je sais quoi ça là-bas? Quoi ce truc? What is that? Ah! C'est le machin. Ah, mon seau! J'ai enfin retrouvé mon seau. Mon seau. Ah, ça c'est une bonne nouvelle. Et là je me dis en fait il aurait fallu que je fasse l'épilogue sans le seau maintenant. Ah, j'aurais peut-être dû. On verra. De toute façon je vais le refaire. Il y a une génératrice. Trop bien. Non, il n'y a rien de marqué dessus et tout. À la mémoire de Stanley Parable 2. Ok. On peut cliquer, non? D'accord. Certes. Et... mais encore... Critique The Stanley Parable 2. Comme beaucoup d'autres, j'ai bien aimé le premier Stanley Parable, ce qui souligne à quel point je suis déçu de cette suite, là où le jeu d'origine brillait par son originalité. Le second est ennuyeux, sans inspiration et bien souvent insultant à l'égard de ses fans. Plutôt que de surfer sur ce qui a fait le succès du premier jeu, la suite nous amène vers des territoires qui n'intéressent personne, un trou sans fin qui s'intéresse, ou sans une nouvelle fin. Et ces séquences amusantes de Stanley Parable, comme la ligne d'aventure, au lieu de ça, on nous sert une quête annexe, peut inspirer à la base de collecte de figurines, mais même cette diversion laisse un goût d'inachevé, trouver les figurines. Ah, ok, pourquoi pas. Développeur de Stanley Parable, plus de spin-off, plus de suite. D'accord. Quand Stanley a connu un créateur envisage faire forcer les développeurs à ouvrir la baisse leur ambition. D'accord, ok, bon bah il s'excuse, hein. En des termes d'excuses. Y'a quoi par là?
Jim, Stanley, Stanley.
Genre au troisième bouton j'ai déjà trouvé le bon. D'accord, ok, c'est un historique sûrement. Mais ça, ces historiques, comment tu veux que je les comprenne? Après, sûrement, il y avait plein de boutons qui faisaient Stanley. Ah, le trou de... les collectives. Ouais, j'en ai 24. Le trou sans fin. On a percé parce que... c'est un trou avec encore plus de fin. Merci d'avoir profité du nouveau contenu. Ok. Ah. Ah, bonjour. Rebonjour. Ah, oui, en fait, quand je lançais le jeu, il y avait un dialogue comme ça, genre réglez l'heure, machin. Et en fait, au bout de plusieurs fois, il me mettait des nouvelles choses. Bref. Ravi de vous voir. Et vous avez jamais vu ça parce que c'est à chaque fois que je lance le jeu, du coup. Mais c'est horrible d'apprendre que nous ne fera jamais le joueur. Elle a envie de préserver l'intégralité de la franchise, qu'elle ramasse l'idiotie. N'est pas sacré, il n'a eu besoin d'être protégé. Au diable, l'héritage continue de créer des jeux. La terre très loin dans la boue, et si le public déteste, qui s'intéresse, oui, c'était ça le problème du narrateur, il faisait une fixation sur ce que les gens pensaient de son travail. Ne faites pas la même erreur, ne vous attachez pas à l'aise, c'est le désagrégé, ce n'est pas difficile d'ailleurs, je vais vous montrer. Ensemble, nous allons créer The Stanley Parable 3. Ah, c'est simple, il suffit de changer le numéro de l'écran titre du jeu. Si un sous-titre débile pour le jeu, un truc bien cucu qui se démarque, essayez de combiner des mots au hasard pour trouver un nouveau titre pour le jeu, allez. D'accord. Voilà, les origines du fruit. C'est absurde, j'adore. Passons à chiffre 1, cette connaîtra jamais de fin. Donc vous ne ferez pas ça. Ajouter du contenu, ça demande de travail inutile jusque-là. Même contenu recyclé à l'infini avec une nouvelle écran titre. Qu'est-ce que vous dites de ça? Ça valide ce plan. Mais vous assure, non, on fait pas ça. Trop tôt pour avancer. C'est pas grave, si vous changez, vous créez une nouvelle suite, revenez me voir, je serai là. Ah, faut peut-être que je le fasse. Ok, bon, je le fais. Franchement, on m'oblige, hein. On m'oblige. On m'oblige. J'ai pas le choix. Allez. Maintenant, on attend la suite. Blablabla. Blablabla. Je marchais dans le désert. Et il faisait chaud. Il y avait rien à faire. Le sable était beau. J'aimerais bien aller à la mer, mais je sais pas où c'est. Parce que tout ce que je vois, c'est le désert. Et c'est bien assez. Pardon, je sais pas pourquoi j'ai envie. Oui, c'est parce que je me fais chier. Hein. Est-ce que ça se voit, hein? Clairement. Est-ce qu'on le remarque? Dirais-je. Oui? Très bien. C'est vrai que je devais me raser, j'ai oublié. Je suis une bite. Nananananer. Après, quand on a un temps infini, on peut toujours arriver à destination. Peu importe. Allez, allez, allez. S'il vous plaît. Allez, allez, mind tes fesses, mind tes fesses. Je sais que tu vas me donner le machin, là. Le soleil se couche. C'est joli, c'est mignon. Bon, cette fois, je prends pas le saut, parce que... je me dis que ça a peut-être pas d'intérêt. Et sûrement que ça change rien. Je suppose. Allez, allez. On y retourne. Et cette fois, on valide. Je déteste les jeux quand ils te font des coups comme ça en mode ah non, t'as dit non. Du coup, à la fin, tu te fais niquer. Ah, ok. Ok, je suis pas méchant hein, dans la vie. C'est juste que je suis pas un salaud. Vous auriez dû faire ah, t'es sûr? Bon, ok, j'aurais peut-être dit oui là. Non, j'aurais dit non. J'aurais dit non une deuxième fois comme un con. Parce que je suis un bébé. Oh. Le rocher qui a décidé de dire bonjour, je serai placé au bon endroit. Très bon endroit. Allez. Jim. Stanley.
Jim.
Ah ouais, du coup, je suis tombé vraiment sur le bouton qui dit Stanley. Genre, il y en avait un. Ok, non, mais c'est à savoir, hein, je pensais vraiment pas. Je pensais vraiment pas que ce serait le cas. Y a autre chose ou pas? Parce que j'ai pas essayé les portes. Non, bon. Ok. On y go. Allez. On y retourne. Oh, bonjour, oui. Ah, c'est mon idée. Oui. Oui, on fait ça. La suite dès que vous commencerez le jeu. Et vous savez quoi, puisque vous avez cru en j'ai envie de vous faire un petit quelque chose. Il semble que le narrateur n'ait pas réussi à vous remettre le succès cassé, n'est-ce pas? Vous n'attendez pas de miracle de sa part, ça m'embêterait. Je vous propose qu'on règle ça. Et voilà, la machine à succès est réparée. Ensemble, vous et moi, et ensemble, ferons avancer ce train. Tournez sur le... Je dois continuer à faire tourner la roue. Moi, je suis prêt, vous aussi. Ah, il y a envie quelque chose à faire. Entrez-le. Ah oui, c'est vrai, faut entrer là. Ah, mais... je suis fucking régulier, moi, dans la vie. Oui, parce que c'est le premier coup où le jeu il te disait ah, règle-le. Ça sert à rien, mais voilà. Oui, je dois déplacer le curseur jusqu'ici. Profitez bien. Tout à fait. Voilà. The Stanley Parable 3. Les origines du fou. Tout à fait, voiture. Voilà. Et du coup, maintenant, normalement, je peux faire certaines choses. Parce que j'ai débloqué le bousin. Normalement. Mais je sais plus quoi. Ce qui est chiant, c'est que là, va falloir que j'aille voir une solution, je pense.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Je pense.
Stanley
Je pense que maintenant, je dois aller faire quelque chose, mais je sais plus quoi. Tiens, j'ai jamais essayé de faire la fin de bonjour, j'ai pris le seau.
all of his
Ah non,
coworkers were gone.
bon, pas très grave. Alors. Parce que du coup, je cherchais les bucket endings. Et après les bucket endings, je cherchais machin, et donc je suis tombé sur plein de trucs. Bref. Non, Stanley, Bevel. Deluxe, bucket ending. Donc. Donc, tous les trucs, machin. Alors. Ça, je l'ai vu. Ça, je l'ai vu. Le musée, je l'ai vu. Mariella. Je l'ai vu, celle-là. Oui, je l'ai vu, celui-là. Escape Pod, je l'ai fait. Broom Closet, je l'ai fait. Ça me dit rien. Ah oui, il y a cette fin à faire. Putain, je l'avais pas refaite.
Stanley decided to go to
C'est
the
vrai, il y avait ça.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Une ending comme ça. Alors, je vais essayer de la faire moi-même. Pas si ça va le faire, mais je vais essayer moi-même.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Où il y a en fait, je peux tomber dans la zone du contrôle mental.
yet there was not a single person here.
Attends, je vérifie quand même vraiment comment ça
Feeling
se
a
fait.
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Du coup, celle-là, je la connais pas, je pense, cette ending.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as
Oui, oui,
possible.
oui, je
he
suis
didn't even have a
pressé.
single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oui, oui, on sait. C'est chiant, c'est long.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
J'ai pas le temps, mon esprit veut une fin. Et ailleurs aussi, des fois, ça... Il y a un peu de ça. Il y a un petit peu de ça. Bon, allons-y.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Alors, apparemment, il faut que je tombe quelque part.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control.
Apparemment, il y a du bordel et je peux monter dessus. Alors, je peux monter sur différents stuff. En mode, ça me fait à moitié grimper dessus. Et je peux passer par-dessus le rail. J'y étais presque. Peut-être pas ici,
The
peut-être
lights
plus loin.
rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh, ça doit être là-bas que je peux le faire. Là, il y a plein de choses qui se passent. Hop là. Oui. Aïe.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just
Ah,
for this
c'est sympa
section.
quand même.
You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job, job. You made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. Railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
C'est pas un peu long?
You did it. Good job, 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 you did it.
C'est tout. Du coup, je vais le refaire avec le bucket maintenant. Parce que je peux le faire. Et c'est tout. Ça me fait juste kiffer ça me fait juste rire de le faire. Je suis curieux de faire toutes les fins, c'est ça l'idée.
Stanley's bucket, the only co-worker he would ever truly need. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly.
Alors, voyons voir. La différence avec le bucket.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office would coming to a staircase. Stanley and the
J'ai
bucket
pas le
walked
temps,
upstairs
je
to the boss's
trace
office.
toute ma vie.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Pas le temps.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by
Et
sheer
oui, j'ai
luck.
tout trouvé par
Was
chance.
it the bucket
Mais oui,
he
le
was
sceau me l'avait
Was the
dit.
bucket guiding him?
Le sceau me guide.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
J'ai l'impression d'avoir déjà fait ça. Ce qu'on dit dans le jeu tout le temps.
The elevator raced downward,
Mal au coccyx, moi.
towards
Mal au coccyx.
his own fate.
Comment ça va?
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not
J'ai toujours kiffé le nom de ce personnage dans Astérix.
comforting him, reassuring that in this
Et la façon dont il le
moment
dit
of
jamais.
uncertainty, he would be all
Enfin,
right.
numéro 10, du coup.
The bucket is here for you, Stanley.
Oui, oui, le bucket est là. Si je tombe au fond, c'est pas grave.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oui, 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 oui. Tout à fait.
The
Allez,
lights rose
pas le temps.
on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket
J'ai
wondered
pas
to themselves.
the time. Allez. J'ai réussi à le faire tout à l'heure. Whip. J'ai dit whip. Voilà. Oui. Ploup.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket,
Ah.
which safely cushioned his fall.
Le saut. Le meilleur bro.
Next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed.
Oh.
It really wasn't so
Ah
bad
ouais.
down here. A bit cold,
Comme ça.
perhaps.
Ah ouais.
After some time
Ah.
went by, they installed a few shelves as well.
Non, mais
and a
c'est
sort
bien,
of
en vrai.
kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
Ah oui, un petit panini.
But it wasn't until the
J'aime
right
pas les
of the
paninis,
standing
en vrai.
lamps came in that it
Un bon
really
sandwich,
started
c'est
to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had
Ah.
even thought of the
Ah oui, c'est vrai, il y a un
mind-control
centre
facility.
mental là-haut.
He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility.
J'adore parce que c'est la sortie.
This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn
Mais non,
and neglected the cleaning.
mais non.
It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this.
Mais non.
The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail.
Mais non.
All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Et c'est tout. Bon, ok, ça c'est fait. Alors, du coup, qu'est-ce qu'il me reste comme fin? Alors, élévateur... Elevator ending, c'est quoi l'elevator ending? Ça me dit rien du tout. D'accord, je savais pas qu'il y avait une fin comme ça. Je l'ai pas testé jusqu'à fond, j'ai voulu, mais je l'ai pas fait, ok.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Il me semblait bien que la zone était nouvelle, mais bon. On va voir.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Et comme je la connais pas, je vais la faire en normal et après
Yet,
en bucket.
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Non, s'il te plaît, la porte. Alors. Nous sommes ici, je veux descendre. Voilà, on va attendre maintenant. Pas ce qu'elle dit là. Il est long cet ascenseur, hein. Je sais pas si c'est normal en vrai. Je suis là. Si ça se trouve, je les reset. Ok. Bon, bah on va se faire chier. Hein. Alors voilà. Pas de quoi parler. C'est con, il n'y a personne pour discuter avec moi pendant ce temps d'attente. Alors... Oui, je bouquine en attendant. Voilà. Et non, cet ascenseur. Au loin des longs couloirs, quelques anneaux de vitre, les rails lissés d'entre deux portes closes. Cette putain d'ascenseur. Eh bah, dis donc, c'est un sacré ascenseur, hein. Après, c'est selon les instructions, hein. Je suis censé atteindre le bas. C'est moi ou tu viens de dire getting bored now? Tu t'ennuies, chanteur? Ah bah, vis l'ascenseur, hein, t'inquiète. Après, faire la musique devait pas être très passionnant non plus. Ça fait combien de temps? Je sais pas. Ça m'énerve.
Loving that mellotron.
Mais je suis un con. C'est pas cet ascenseur-là, en fait. Je suis un crétin. C'est pas celui-là. C'est l'autre. On est d'accord. Je suis un crétin. Oui.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah blah blah. Dark secrets, the keypad, Stanley
Ah,
pushes
bien.
the buttons. Oh,
Bien.
hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Yes. Yes. Surprise. Alors du coup en anglais on l'avait What a surprise et en français dans la voix anglaise il a fait oh, quelle surprise. Bon, il paraît qu'il faut que je remonte.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind.
C'est vrai que j'y ai pas pensé.
Actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Et oui.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated.
Eh oui.
It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Ah bon. Et du coup là je peux toujours pas repartir. Donc faut que je redescende. C'est bien dommage.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Eh oui, on ne sait jamais. Hein. Bien.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
Alors.
Oh my god. It's the boss's office.
Ah.
This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
Oui, ok.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
Ah, ok. Ah non, je suis sympa, moi, je le laisse faire. Hein, parce que...
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
Tout à fait.
Of course. Going back down in the elevator.
Eh oui,
Did I not
c'est évident.
anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Rate le bouton. Et on remonte. Ah, rien? Pas de... Bon. Ok, pas de commentaires.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
Ok.
There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently
Ouais, c'est
as
vrai.
possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over.
Eh oui.
Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life.
Non.
Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye,
Oui.
but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning.
non.
They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better.
Oh, oh,
Good,
bonjour.
we're here.
Bonjour.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
L'humain qui a la meilleure santé, tous les trucs. Comment je l'ai fait, les pyramides. Le mec qui est allé sur Mars, ok. Et du coup, Stanley. Une soirée avec le bébé de la paix mondiale.
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door.
D'accord.
All right, Are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry. You'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
Up again, down again. Ah oui. Ouais, jolie la valise. Quoi sur les dessins? D'accord. Ok. D'accord, très bien. Je fatigue, moi, dis donc. Wow, du calme. Ok. Je vais exploser. Ah ok, comme ça. Au calme. Très bien.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Bon, on refait la même chose, mais vous êtes
Stanley
bucket.
decided to go to the meeting. Is Stanley
Et
without
cette fois, je vais pas perdre 5 minutes comme un con.
No, surely not. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here.
Non.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd come into a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by
Ah oui, non, c'est bon.
Was it the bucket knew?
Oui, le bucket le savait. Le bucket, c'est tout.
Guiding him? Yes,
Le bucket, c'est un wiki en fait.
logical
On l'a pas dit, mais le bucket, c'est un wiki. Ouais, c'est vrai, j'ai un coup de barre. C'est parce que je joue tout seul. Dès que je joue tout seul, j'ai un coup de barre. Parce que parler avec des gens m'active. Alors, même si le jeu est très intéressant, ça m'active. Maintenant, allez.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Bien. Très bien. Ok. Je comprends. Je comprends.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
D'accord. Très bien. Le bucket.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly. No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Le bucket, il comprend pas. Il comprend pas. Normal. Il voudrait comprendre, mais il peut pas.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
Pour Stanley, il est relégué à l'ascenseur.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another.
Mais pour
Why
une fois,
suddenly
là.
could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Maybe. Maybe not. Mais on remonte. Ah, ok, y a rien.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there.
Ah, la conférence de presse, bien sûr.
Where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over.
Très important.
He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
Tout à fait, tout à fait,
For
tout à fait.
months he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one. There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over.
Je suis triste.
He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure. And in that moment,
So sad.
Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
So sad. Bon, du coup, maintenant. Buquette. Que m'offres-tu comme fin alternative? Alors, j'ai fait celle-là. Nanana. Donc maintenant, je dois faire la fin. Les fins à droite, c'est-à-dire les choses là. Alors la confusion ending, je suis pas sûr si je l'ai faite. Oui, du coup, je l'ai déjà fait. Ouais, le bucket destroyer. Ok, du coup, ça, je l'ai fait. Powerful ending. Je l'ai pas faite, celle-là. Oui, c'est vrai que je l'ai pas fait. Je suis un idiot. Je l'ai pas fait.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Allez, on se suicide.
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's
Oh,
arms.
c'est romantique.
How deeply touching.
Voilà. Le reste. Powerful, je l'ai faite. Cold Feet. Ah, donc c'est les fameuses fins en mode t'es allé sur le machin mais t'es revenu.
Was it a sign of something? He hoped
Je sais
it
plus si je l'ai
was.
faite en
He
vrai.
hoped very much that it was.
J'ai pas l'intuition de ça.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Bon, du coup, maintenant, faut avoir les
Stanley was so
pétoches.
bad at following directions, it's
C'est-à-dire
incredible
aller
it
sur le
wasn't
truc
5
et se
years
dire
ago.
non. Voilà.
Well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below. You know what? Looking at it now, it's not that far to the bottom floor. I bet you can make it.
Ah, si je peux le faire.
Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Merde. Maintenant avec les baguettes. Ah, je monte toutes les fins, moi j'en ai rien à foutre. Hein.
What could it mean?
C'est long, mais je m'en branle.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
Néorosophile.
Stanley
Il y a des héros sophistes, mais les héros sophiles, je les connais pas.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Bon,
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet.
oui.
Well, from here, it looks like the only way forward is down, since the lift won't be coming back, but that's okay. You've got a
ah, j'ai un saut.
Did you know that buckets
Parfait.
are routinely used as cushioning devices? It's true. You can fall on a bucket from literally any height and survive.
Ah bah c'est trop bien, je peux survivre à toutes les chutes avec un bucket.
Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Deux fois. Ah non mais un. Alors, appartement. Oui, ça je pense que l'appartement j'ai dû la faire. Il me semble que l'appartement avec le bucket... C'est ça, oui. la blague parfaite sur le bucket. Tout à fait. Oui, oui, ça je l'ai fait. Apparemment, il y a une seconde fin. Bon allez, pour la forme, je la refais. Alors du coup, c'était... Faut que je débranche le téléphone. Ah ok, il y a des feuilles à l'infini par terre. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to
Okay.
the meeting room. Perhaps... Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this
Is a bucket.
And indeed it was. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Aïe, pardon,
Stanley took the
excusez-moi.
door on
Je vous
his
ai
left
tapé.
to go back to the
Je
meeting
vous ai tapé dans les oreilles, c'est pas cool de ma part.
No.
Pardon, je me gratte, du coup je tiens
Don't
plus
go
les
to the
oreilles.
meeting room. Go
Okay.
somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Good.
said the bucket.
Bon,
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
vas-y.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Donc là, faut que je refasse la fin à peu près comme elle était déjà. Ta
Now
tronche.
pick up the phone.
Said the... Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things.
Quoi?
Buckets can't talk. It was a joke.
Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing?
Bon, c'est un peu chiant, je suis obligé de la refaire.
Comedic timing. How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, I'm Denny with the funny now.
C'est bon?
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all.
Pardon, je regardais des conneries, c'est pas le truc qui me fait rire.
At some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, with each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Ok, voilà, c'est fini? C'est bon?
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Tout à fait. Allons-y, allons-y. Je crois que je vais m'arrêter après.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Non.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point.
Après, ça se trouve, j'ai fait cette fin.
Remarkable
Je suis un
comedic
con.
wit which culminates in this scene.
Ça se trouve, c'est celle que j'ai déjà fait.
But now the timing.
Je m'en rappelle plus.
The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open
En fait, je crois que je l'ai déjà fait.
left.
Merde. Chier. Chier, je l'ai déjà fait en fait. Ah non, en fait, je lisais la fin sans le bucket, comme un gros con. Je suis con. Bon, de toute façon, je suis fatigué, c'est l'heure de m'arrêter. Je vais arrêter les conneries. Donc je l'ai déjà fait, c'est pas grave. Hein. Je suis désolé, je m'en vais. Je vous fais des bisous, parce que là je suis claqué. Je vous fais des bisous, je vous dis à lundi, tranquillou. Pour la suite d'Obduction sûrement. Du coup bisous tout le monde, salut.